how's it going? I'm IlaGolden and welcome to my vlog. Alright, okay, so this time we are going to be talking about animals. As I mentioned at the last one, this is probably slightly to do with the fact that I now own a cute and adorable pair of gerbils. um, Although I'm not really going to be talking about how I write pets because I've thought about it and I don't think I've ever given any of my characters pets. I don't know why, but I don't think I have. Make of that what you will. However, I have written animals, or rather, I have written synthwaves, which anyone who's seen the one on Zirconians will know that a synthwave isn't in animals. So yeah, I've definitely written about animals. In fact, even before the whole synthwave thing, the idea of humanoid animals was definitely featured within my work. So I guess that's kind of how I sort of tackle animals, not necessarily just in the sense of animals and of nature, but more kind of in terms of how they relate to people and the sort of the human side of it. I don't know. Probably not a very good explanation. So yeah, some of my early work, some of the stuff that I did when I was younger, definitely had whole humanoid animal things in it. I think I set quite a few stories with sort of a realm or but this is before I really had realms and everything else. So it was sort of in a world where there were sort of very humanoid animals. And they kind of acted a lot more like people who just looked like animals than anything else. I think the first sort of true animal person human hybrid type thing that I really tackled were the Wolfians the first time that I wrote the Amhart, which by the way is the series that I'm working on at the moment, like rewriting at the moment. Um, and yeah, they were a lot more animal-like. Um, I want to sort of say they're kind of a bit like werewolves, but they're not because they're sort of permanently in this sort of half animal, half human sort of state. And they have some very sort of human-like qualities, and they have some very like animal qualities. They were sort of definitely the first time I really sort of tackled that sort of idea of the combination of two. And then around that sort of time, the whole idea of synthwaves and the animal spirits sort of started coming through. And I think, and once again, I'm going to talk about Tales because I think I do quite a good job with the Zirconians that feature in Tales. Um, so yeah, I think when writing the tales and sort of tackling the Zirconian characters within that and how they related to their synthwaves and how their synthwaves affected them, how they sort of thought of the others around them, and how the animals kind of represent them and they represent the animals a lot as well. Definitely sort of came a lot more into play, and suddenly the idea that you can have the animal influenced by the human side and the human influenced by the animal side definitely started playing a lot more of a feature. And yeah, and then sort of after I sort of did the tales, sort of over the last sort of 10 years or so, I've also done a few more of the, I don't know, origin of the multiverse type stories. So the Perry and Surtees story, I've done the story of the first four Zirconians and how the Zirconians came into being as well. And animals feature quite heavily in those stories. I think not as synthwaves or as pets, but as representations of ideas and sort of much more symbolically. So I guess that's kind of the other way I sort of tackle animals. They can be very symbolic within what I write and sort of meaningful in that sort of way. And then again, as I've mentioned, the Triberids. The Triberids, the Realm reality series, and the Triberids, and the Triberids being sort of part animal and part human, and how that sort of affects it. Yeah, as you can see, the idea of my animal characters and my human characters kind of being one and the same in sort of various ways and in various sort of stages. It's definitely, I think, sort of how I kind of like to think about it. I think, if I'm writing like an animal character, it's not just so that they can be an animal within the story, it's so that they can add and be a character within the story. So I think the fact that they are sort of connected in these sort of ways is kind of important to my storytelling, both in terms of the symbolism and in terms of just how I like to characterize things. And as I was starting to say, I'm doing the whole Amhart thing again now, so I'm featuring the Wolfians again now, and yeah, they're great. Well, the two that I've written are very different, but yeah, no, it's great to sort of have that kind of dynamic there. And, yeah, as I said, I don't strictly write animal characters. They're either hybrided type beings or they are symbolic in some sort of way, and I think that's very much kind of how I tackle it. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that I've never given any of my characters pets, and I'm not really sure why that is. I'm a pet owner myself, and I have owned various pets over my reasonably time lifespan so far, without giving away how old I am. So yeah, I know that people can have a very strong connection to their pets, and that can be a very important relationship. And I'm not quite sure why I haven't sort of tackled that, but I think in a lot of ways, because a lot of the characters that I do write about are in some way part animal themselves or have a very strong connection to the animal world and to the natural world, then I kind of like to explore that more than I feel the need to sort of explore the whole human pet relationship, because I think you can do more if you're looking at animals as being more than just pets within writing, as being more symbolic or having sort of a more symbiotic relationship with whoever they're connected to. I don't know. I think that's just how it is. However, as I said, at the same time, I do. I'm a loving pet owner. I know pets give people a lot of joy. So maybe at some point I will write characters who have pets. Quite sure how I would get that into a story, just based on sort of how I do write and the kind of things that I do write. But yeah, I'm sure at some point I will have to tackle that in like more of a straightforward sort of way. But I think as it is, and how I write now and the things that I'm writing now and the way I sort of view my writing now, I like this idea that the connection and relationship between what is human and what is animal can be more than just this is this and this is that, and there can be this interconnection, there can be this sort of intertwining and this symbiotic and symbolic sort of relationship between the two, because I don't know, I think it's the part of me that looks at the world and sees the magic that is in the world, or wants to see the magic that is in the world, and wants to sort of see the world as being something that is more than what it is, and seeing, us connected, us as humans, and the humans that I kind of write, being connected to something greater than it's themselves and ourselves. And I think, yeah, I don't know if I've done a very good job of explaining myself, but that is kind of my thoughts about writing animals and sort of how I tackle writing animals. And there's not been as much talking about gerbils as I would have expected. I could have been doing that because they are adorable, although they are asleep at the moment, which is good. Always film this when they're asleep and then they're not making too much noise, because they are like literally just over there. All right. Okay, I know this has been sort of a short and sweet one, but I knew this was going to be sort of a very short and sweet sort of subject. So let's go from something light and fluffy this time to something a bit more truthful, I guess, for next time. And next time we are going to be talking about the darkness that is present in my writing. And there has always been darkness present in my writing. Ask any of my friends and they will tell you there's always been like a little bit of darkness, at least, there in my writing. And I have mentioned it in the past. But I think we should sort of tackle that a little bit more head on, or at least find some new things to say about it. I guess. We'll see. All right. I hope this one has been sort of interesting. I know it's been a bit babbly, but it has been short and sweet, I hope. And I will see you guys next time. See ya. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to check out some of my others. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. See ya.